I gotta admit, I'm a bit sad that we are at the end of me talking about this game. With all the Lord souls collected, the only thing left to do is confront the man who started it all. Gwyn, the bastard to end all bastards. And damn, Frampt is in a hurry for this to be over too. I know Frampt is manipulative and whatnot, but at least he's kind of silly.
I must admit, I am fond of you humans.
Okay. That's the last one, I promise. The Black Knights at the entrance are such a great jump scare, and when you realize that they are just spirits, there is a sort of somberness to the moment. These bastards have intimidated me across the whole game. They sacrifice themselves to a cause so ancient, you have to wonder if they really know who they are. There's nothing behind those helmets, but maybe there once was. The only enemies you face are Black Knights, and at this point they feel like equals to me. I'm not perfect at parrying because I usually stick to two-handing weapons, so it really is half and half with these guys for me. And I honestly like that they've never really lost that presence they had in the early game for me. They've always remained somewhat intimidating. Some may call this run back frustrating, but I've always liked how engaging it is, whether you are actually fighting the Black Knights or running away from them. It's an interesting challenge either way. And I think it gatekeeps the final boss from you in a pretty fair way. There's always plenty of talk about Gwyn, but I feel like the Kiln itself is just as important to the finale of this game. The game has had this almost post-apocalyptic setting to it, but it really feels like the end here. The Kiln has clouds of dust or ash forming in its atmosphere, and the walls of this place have always felt so foreign to me. There's a clear allusion to the Tower of Babel here with the central structure of the Kiln. Gwyn became the embodiment of his age of fire. In a way, this could be seen as reaching for the heavens. But it all ultimately came tumbling down. One of my favorite details of this area are all the ruins surrounding this central tower. Not only was this structure probably once much taller, but it also at one point might have encompassed the entire kiln. I also love the detail of the kiln being built atop an arch tree. It does a great job of showing that Gwyn has gone to such great lengths to bury the past as he sees fit.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Finding Solaire here gives me hope. It shows that he was able to get out of Lost Islip and that by facing Gwyn, he'll find his own sunlight. It's time we face him too. And god damn what a moment this is. This fight actually still kicks my ass. I'm super inconsistent with parrying, so I have never seen this fight as the cakewalk many have often described it as. It hurts so much every time you get beat down by this bastard. The march back is grueling, but it makes you want to win even more. But he just keeps kicking your ass. Despite being in an obviously decayed state, Gwyn is relentless. He almost feels antithetical to the whole game's design with bosses. I mean, he's just always attacking. Outside of his grab, there isn't really much openings for attacking him. And mind you, this is the only boss fight that you can really parry in. And it's like basically mandatory. This isn't to say that the boss fight is bad. I like how relentless he is. It makes him this villain that's just unstoppable, and he needs to die. Like, he's gotta go. And then, of course, there's the music. This piano piece is so different from all the other tracks in the game. Much like the relentlessness of Gwyn's attacks, this piece is a persistent sadness. It isn't so much a song that is getting you to empathize with Gwyn. More so, this is a piece about the world that he has created. An unending tragedy prolonged because of Gwyn's greed. I absolutely adore instrumental pieces. And sure, I can sit here and tell you all about what this music piece means, but the thing is, instrumental music expresses what words cannot. It is a feeling that is simply understood when you hear it. With this victory, we are left with two options: link the fire, or become the Dark Lord of humanity. Burning yourself to death doesn't sound that appealing, but it can be easy to assume that this is the right course of action to take for this world if you look at it on the surface. The undead exist under constant discrimination and suffering, and we're told that kindling the flame is believed to put an end to that suffering.
Grant has told me of you, that you have agreed to link the fire. I thank you sincerely. Finally, the curse of the undead will be lifted, and I can die human.
The only thing is that this is a trilogy, so obviously it isn't some sort of permanent solution, and this can be inferred as well just by observing all the manipulative tactics of the powers that be. They've been using undead forever. The relinking of the fire curing the undead curse is almost certainly just another manipulation tactic.
Please.
Now, after hearing all that, obviously ushering in an age of humanity sounds a lot more enticing than setting yourself on fire. But this ending isn't as nice as it sounds either. Really, becoming this Dark Lord isn't as much about you and is instead all about these guys. You are just a puppet for them to use. Even Frampt switches over, which really shows you that he is an opportunistic bastard. I still see this dark ending as the best chance for humanity, but who am I to say that, at least in the context of this first game? Even if the curse remains after linking the flame, perhaps people will be able to live at peace for a time. Or maybe a dark age is really the only chance humanity has, even if that freedom is squandered by the schemes of the serpents. To me, what this choice is really about isn't so much about defining a good or bad ending. It is more so about showing your agency, or maybe your lack of agency. Both sides are toying with you, but being able to recognize that is valuable in its own way. Seeing through the schemes is an act of liberation. What you make of these choices is yours to decide. The world has dealt us a bad hand, but it is ultimately up to us to make something out of it.
Our Lord hath written